What's the haps on the hops? Got yeast, that's bees. This the Molten Hour where we talk about our drink and tell you what we think every other week. And if we get drunk, well, we might slur our speech. Got the gift of gab, the friends you wish you had. Join us for a drink, join us for a laugh. Time is never wasted, where you getting wasted. The Molten Hour here, people take your places. People take your places. People take your home.
Is everybody taking their places? I hope so, because it's time for the Malting Hour. What if I started the show like that every time? Like we're in a classroom setting. Brandon?
No thanks.
I said Brandon, not Clark. Fuck.
Stupid Clark.
Anyways, well, there goes all the intros. Hi, I'm Tony. Welcome to the Malting Hour. Joined always with
Brandon Whittington.
And sometimes
Clark Fettridge.
And today we are coming back around. I like that. And sometimes. This episode we are going to be discussing, finally, we're revisiting the pumpkin beer. I know how many of you, the listeners, were like, boy, when are they going to do their pumpkin beer episode? They talked about, brewing their beers. They can do a better job than what they drank. I need to know how they did. Well, you're in luck. This is it. And we have a special guest with us. Number one fan, number one listener, my brother-in-law and yours, Mike Vertucci.
Hi, everyone.
I should have had...
Yeah.
Man, I didn't think about applause.
Yeah. Should we do it again? Do you want to try it again? My brother-in-law and yours, Mike Vertucci.
Hi, everyone. Oh, my
Okay.
You blew it!
You blew it. Well, Mike.
This is why this is the first time I'm on here.
Actually, it's the second time you've been on before.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Well, this time we're not brewing, but we are doing homebrew. First off, how's everyone doing? Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing well. Surviving. Not sick. Oh, I did I had to go to the emergency clinic this morning, so that wasn't fun.
Was that for you?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
I woke up and my uvula was like super swollen.
I thought only ladies had those.
Becca was like, you should go get a strep test, just in case. So I ran in, got a strep test, and I don't have strep. But they're like, here's some steroids, just in case.
Oh, cool. You're going to get buff now. That's how it works.
Exactly.
That's good.
Fun times.
Clark, how are you today?
Oh, I'm great. Drinking. No work this week.
Must be nice.
Oh, yeah.
And Mike, how are you? How are you doing, man? Last time you were on the show, maybe about a year ago when we did the Dunkelweiss brewing episode in my garage. We got through about half an episode, and then your son started throwing up profusely, and you had to leave.
Yeah, that was not fun.
But the episode was fun, right? Or wait, was the puking not fun, or the episode?
No, the episode was awful. Puking was fine. It was cool.
What a jerk.
How are
I don't even think he puked. I don't know. I forgot what I told my wife to call and tell us.
Nice excuse, man. What a jerk. Well, as everyone who listens to this show, we did do a pumpkin beer episode, which was a lot of fun. We did, though, me, Brandon, and Clark, we all kind of agreed that we weren't really impressed with those beers that we tried, except for the first one. And maybe, just maybe, we had a little bit of palate fatigue because I know that I went back and had some of those beers, and they did not deserve the the scathing reviews we gave them. But at the time, it felt correct.
Yeah, and I think again, we're probably all in that same boat because all of us had, not all of those beers, but we've had some of those before, and even after or while we were tasting them, we're like, this doesn't taste like I remember it tasting. So I think that was probably one of our bigger issues. But I'm glad that we weren't like completely disappointed and afraid to go back to those beers. So good
For
stuff.
sure. I was pretty rude to all of those beers, as you can hear on that episode, and I did go back and have every single one of them again, I believe, and was much happier afterwards.
I would say
I do apologize.
The only one that I still didn't really like was the the cold press pumpkin. Which
That's true. That's
just
true.
tastes like coffee and a fucking wafer cookie in it. It's not terrible, but man, I did not. Even the second time around, like, oh, that's right. This is the wafer cookie beer. Not good. Anyway, so we decided that we were going to brew some pumpkin beers. Clark has his own recipe. Brandon and I shared a recipe. We did some minor tweaks to them. He did one way, I did another. And then, Mike, you also you messaged me after you had heard that we were going to be doing brewing our own, which I think was at the end of the pumpkin episode. Like, hey, man, I want in on this. And I was like, what do you mean? I thought maybe you just wanted to be on the show. But no, you wanted to brew a beer, and you did brew a beer. You brewed something very different. So what we're going to do on this episode is go through these beers one at a time, talk about them, give our impressions, and maybe, just maybe, we will have an official malting hour pumpkin beer, or at least an idea of what we want when it comes to a pumpkin beer for this podcast. So we are going to start with, we all agreed on what, Brandon's, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Now, Brandon, you and I did virtually the same thing. You tweaked it a little bit. I came up with this recipe. It's not the recipe I normally use, but it was a recipe that I liked. And I thought, hey, this is going to be cool. And what I did was share it with you. I'm stalling as I flip through my phone to try and get to it. Oh, there it is. Hey. And it was pretty basic. The base I used for Beersmith, I used the style as an amber ale because I like the color as far as pumpkin beers being an amber ale. And this is a pretty easy recipe. I did 8 pounds of Maris Otter pale malt, 1 pound of flaked oats Briess, 1 pound of caramel 120 Briess, 4 ounces of lactose, 1 pound of brown sugar, 1 ounce of Magnum, then 2 teaspoons of allspice, 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, and 4 teaspoons of cinnamon powder, and that was all during the boil. And we then fermented with the Saf Ale USO5. Now, Brandon, what did you do that was a little different?
So, quick question: did you for the lactose? You doubled your lactose, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm just saying what the base recipe was, and that's what you. We'll get to that when we get to mine.
Yeah. So the difference with what I did was I added actually a pound of canned pumpkin. We talked about this too when we were doing the pumpkin beer episode. So that's what Clark currently does. So I took that, I laid it out on a sheet pan, I roasted it. Actually, I sprinkled it with brown sugar, then I roasted it, and that went into the mash right at the beginning.
I will say that the color looks like iced tea, not the wrapper, but the drink, iced tea. And aroma-wise, it's not as. It smells more like beer than I do. Than I do. It smells more like beer than I do, which is a good sign. But it smells more like just an ale than a pumpkin beer. But it does taste very good. I like this. A little sweet. Not a lot of. I don't know. What am I? Somebody help me out here with my descriptors here. What do you guys think?
I mean, it's
this?
not what I'm not noticing is that there's no hop bitterness, which there, really shouldn't be in this, because you want those other flavors to kind of, take over.
I'm getting a bite of something in there, a spice, or not a spice, bitterness.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I don't. It doesn't seem like hop though, and I can't place it.
Clark,
It's the allspice. But yeah, so the thing about this beer too is there was, I don't know where something went wrong, but something definitely went wrong, and this beer ended up being a lot lower than it was supposed to be. So especially with everything that I added to it, so it had, it still had the lactose. It still, I had additional sugars with the, before going into the boil, and I think I hit my number fairly close. But for whatever reason, just came out super low. I forget what it was. Like, I was so disappointed I didn't even write it down. But it was like, I think it was almost like a 2% beer.
Really?
It was like 2 or 3%, something like that.
Yeah, I think
super low.
I think when we did the math, when you were showing me the numbers and everything, it came out to a 3% beer. Now, the original recipe put it at a 6.72% beer.
Yeah. So something obviously went wrong along the way.
Yeah, in a good way, this sort of reminds me of a very, very light, and I guess it makes sense now that it's a 2 to 3% beer, a very, very light version of Pumpkin Ale by Dogfish Head. In a good way. It's
I can
like a
see
more refreshing, spritzy type version of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think this is probably it's not a bad beer, and I'm not saying that because I did this recipe. I will say that I think out of all the pumpkin beers I've tasted that said that there's pumpkin in it, because of maybe the low alcohol, I feel like I could taste pumpkin a good amount in this.
Yeah,
actually,
I definitely get pumpkin too. The
Yeah,
actual pumpkin, not the spices.
Right.
but
Yeah.
For sure, and a lot on the nose too. I'm getting that actually.
Yeah.
As I bring that glass.
Maybe
up
that's
to
what
my
maybe
face.
that's what I'm smelling.
And that's exactly what I want with a pumpkin beer too.
It's good,
Part-
Brandon. I
part of what
like
I
I like how it turned out. Maybe it now.
Yeah, this
not
was a
as a-
happy accident.
Yeah. Now that I know it's 3%, I'm not going to feel so bad finishing this wine bottle of it.
Oh man. So Brandon, do you, if you were to do something, I mean, I guess, like you said, it's a happy accident. If there was something that you were to change about this beer or the brewing process or something you would like to see, what do you think it would be?
Honestly, I don't think there is any. You know, so because it came out so low just by some weird freak thing, I think I would do it again, and I would, because if everything turns out as it's supposed to, and I hit my numbers as far as the final gravity,
Right.
closer to what it's supposed to be, I think I would up the pumpkin, because I feel like if the booze is heavier on this, I feel like if it would have been 6.5% beer, almost 7%, the pumpkin would be a little bit overshadowed.
I'm wondering how that would turn out, and if anybody's ever tried to make like a pumpkin tincture of some sort, or is that something even worth trying?
Like just the pumpkin?
Yeah. Not to just be like, yes, I've added this pumpkin taste just by making the tincture, but something maybe to help like boost it without having to add,
Like 80 pounds of pumpkin?
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
on the homebrew level, I mean, that's as
Maybe
you guys
could dehydrate it.
That'd be interesting. Well, you're the dehydrating master of the four of us, so we'd have to call on you for that. So get ready for next year when we make our first dehydrated pumpkin ale. Thanks for listening, everybody, to the Dehydration Hour. This is Tony Golick signing off.
Amazon does sell pumpkin tincture, so here we go.
What?
I guess it's more of a pumpkin seed liquid extract. Here, I'm working on this right now.
Interesting. A pumpkin seed extract.
Interesting. High strength alcohol based liquid extract. Oh, alcohol free version available.
Oh,
Pumpkin
man.
seed tincture contains only natural ingredients.
Oh, pumpkin seed
Yeah,
tincture?
so that's not exactly.
But I want to get it to try it.
Pumpkin spice tincture. Here we go. Okay.
Don't really need that. We can make our own for that. But but I wonder, I don't know. You said you put 1 pound of pumpkin in this, Brandon?
Yep.
The lingering aftertaste in my mouth is the smell of when I smell a pumpkin. It's not a bad thing. It tastes like pumpkin. This is probably the best representation of pumpkin in a pumpkin beer I've ever had.
So far.
So far. Before I don't want to jump at, and we'll save that. Anybody else have anything else to say about Brandon's adventure in pumpkin brewing here?
No, very refreshing. Very nice.
Yeah.
I
I really enjoy it. The only thing I wish it had was a little more head retention. I don't know if it's the spices that, the oils and the spices, because it's perfectly carbonated. I just got absolutely no head, even when I poured it.
Sounds like my prom night.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pumpkin ale thing, though, isn't it?
That very well could be.
Well, and
I
honestly,
don't drink
one
enough of them.
No, but one of the things I remember with pumpkin ale from Dogfish Head is sort of the same thing. Maybe that's part of what's reminding me about it.
Well, I'm wondering is it more from the pumpkin, because my beer, well, at least because I figured we'd go on to mine next because it's the same recipe. If you guys are okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
My beer actually has, like, I still have head on mine that I poured it off right before we started recording. There's still a little bit of head on it. Now you guys all have
Here's the red cap, right?
yeah. Take the red pill. You guys all have bottles of it that I just poured off of my kegerator here. I didn't use any cool gun like Mike's got. So really, the only thing,
Cool gun? Sure.
the only thing, the things different that as far as the recipe goes is I added I upped my lactose from 4 ounces to 8 ounces. And then I almost forgot to add all the spices. Instead of adding it with 15 minutes of the boil, I added it while I was chilling. So there's that. And I hit my and my numbers, instead of it being 6.7, it's 7.5. So here we go.
Yeah, so crazy. Two different sides of, this.
Yeah.
Yeah, discernibly darker.
Yes.
Yes.
Boy, going from yours to mine. Okay.
The spice is definitely a punch in the face when you smell it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I went from subtle to fuck you, it's pumpkin beer, bitch.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Watch out.
Yeah, watch out.
Yeah, I get the added lactose. I can tell. Yeah, it's a bit sweeter. A bit
Watch out.
milkier, if you will.
Oh, and I will. I feel like I'm missing the pumpkin flavor because I had yours, Brandon. Like I wish.
Did you
It's
add
your-
any pumpkin?
No, there's
You
no
didn't.
there's no pumpkin.
Oh.
in this.
Oh, so
those-
that's what you're saying. You're missing it.
Yeah,
Not that you
yeah.
don't get it. It's just not there.
Right.
But it's funny because I can taste the similarities between this beer and my beer.
Definitely.
But it is funny because it is noticeably missing when I drag. I'm like, oh man. So I think this recipe is a winner. Doing it again, with what you did, and adding the pumpkin, giving that a whirl. See what that does for you.
I like that. The best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like I'm not gonna make that reference. Yeah, I almost want to blend
Mix
a
the
little.
two.
Yeah, I think I'm going to.
I was just thinking that I'm going to drink a little more of yours and do that.
I'm gonna pour a little bit of the Brando in here. Pour a little bit of Brandon in me, just like every episode, you know.
Gotta get that fix.
I need my Brandon fix every episode. All right, let me take a sip now. Yeah, it actually kind of. I don't know if there is more pumpkin in there, and it almost, because of the lightness of your version, Brandon, it almost helps take down some of the punch in your face spice that my mine has. Oh, I also think I put more cinnamon in mine. I don't know if I mentioned that.
But the spices are the same between you guys? Only you did Whirlpool only, Tone.
Correct, and I think I may have added a little more cinnamon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the spice is definitely amped up on yours, which surprises me because it's stronger. You'd think the
Yeah, it would be the other way
alcohol
around.
and the lactose would kind of bury the spices down a little bit, but
Turns out when you whirlpool those spices, you're just really extracting all that goodness, just like when you're making New England IPAs, kids.
no, that's what I did on the stout too. Was a Whirlpool as well as a
Hey,
tincture.
we'll get to your
All right.
Pump the brakes.
Now I know what's coming. Jeez.
Oh boy, yeah. I feel like I would definitely love to. Clark, you and I had this conversation already. That every time or maybe this was on Plop Day. The three of us had this conversation. Cool, we brewed pumpkin beer, and now that we've poured off a couple pints, it's like, yep, don't want any more.
Yeah, I said I have barely had any. You said you've barely had any. Brandon said, oh, I've actually been drinking through mine.
Well, now I
Well.
understand why Brandon's been drinking through his.
Yeah.
Like his is. I remember trying it when we stopped by for the Revolution episode, the Deepwood episode. I did try a little bit of it, and I definitely understand why you can drink through yours. For me, it's more of like, ooh, hey. The only other person that has had some other than you guys is Stephanie Fanny's. She's enjoyed it, and she doesn't like beer. So guess what, Steph? You're getting a growler. Congratulations. Thanks for listening to the Malting Hour, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Yay!
All right, good. He's gone again.
Finally.
So, what do we really think about Tony's beer now that he's gone?
I really enjoyed it.
Oh.
Oh, I knew he was still here.
Both of those responses were funny. Yeah, I will say it would be fun to not necessarily redesign this, but yeah, actually redesign this beer to incorporate pumpkin. I like the strong pumpkin flavor that we got from yours, Brandon. And if we could, actually, what I think we should do is brew this beer on your system, as we've learned from the cinnamon roll stout, that when you and I brew together on your system, hey, watch out. We are hitting numbers, and we're hitting them hard. I think it'd be fun to revisit this next year.
Yeah, I think the first thing we ever brewed on that setup, like all of that stuff, I think is when we did I think we had done Shaggy Tail again, and maybe that's what we had done.
Yeah. Well, you guys did.
Numbers.
You and Mike did Shaggy Tail on there with.
No, originally we did that at Mike's.
Oh, right.
We did that at Mike's setup. Yep.
I thought wasn't Soul Survivor the first? No,
Part of it.
Yeah.
Remember we did that big day where we all brewed?
right. But I'm trying to think of like when the first time we did it. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like we've always hit, when we've worked on your setup together, we've hit the numbers pretty well. So I think if we were to revisit this beer, follow what you did as far as pumpkin up. Oh, someone's space heater is warming up, and off to space Brandon goes. I can't help but point out the stuff I hear in the background, because when I listen
Every
to podcasts
time.
and I hear stuff, it's there. It's in my head. Yeah, I think if we could figure out what would be the right amount of pumpkin to add to this beer, we could have a solid beer for now. I mean, we've got 2 more beers in front of us, and you know, I don't know what to expect. Do you guys have anything else to say about my beer?
No, I think I like the spice level. So I think, so here's where I would, what I'm questioning is if we do take this and add pumpkin, like it may be in the best interest of the beer to actually up the spice a little bit too. You know, just to kind of accommodate for that. But I don't know. Maybe we don't have to. Maybe it'll even out. I don't know. I like the spiciness. I like that the spice is a lot more in your face than it is in mine, but it's just missing that pumpkin. But like I said, I feel like you add the pumpkin, you might lose the kick of the spiciness that I like.
I actually just went back to a little pour of yours without mine, and yeah, man, that pumpkin. I don't know if do you guys have any more? I know Brandon, you did a very nice fill for us. Do you guys have a little bit of Brandon's left to just go now that we've done?
Yeah, let me head on back there.
Mm-hmm. Man, I really like it. And you're right, Mike. There is a bite of something. I can't put my finger on it.
That's
Maybe
the
it's
Coke.
Oh no!
Enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I still get that hit on the nose right when you bring that glass up, which I really like. And here we go.
I can't. Man, that's good, Brandon.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's a solid beer.
Yeah, I would. You know what? I would even just if we can find a way to master what you did, I would be happy with that too. I would feel like, you know, like brother beers right there. You know, you want a milder version of a pumpkin ale. Here you are. It's the same recipe, but it's brought down a little bit. Do you want the bigger version of this beer? Well, then you have my beer, my version of it.
It's like doing it's like the Southern tier, like the 2X, like this 2X, 3X, whatever.
Yeah,
it's just bigger versions.
I like it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
But Tony's does need that pumpkin.
Yeah, mine definitely does need the pumpkin. Well, we'll all agree on that.
Yeah.
I think before we move on to anything else, let's take a break real quick. We'll come right back.
Break time.
Break time.
And we're back! Ho, ho, ho! Like Santa?
That was like
Kind of
Santa.
subdued.
Yeah. I was gonna say, or you can do the somber music again, but that works. That was good. I like that. I like that.
Getting us
we're
into the
back.
mood.
Like coming back when it's like... And we're back at the Malting Hour, starring us, and sometimes that guy Clark. And we're back.
Yeah, that was good.
Officially.
I'm gonna keep all of that in. We are back. Welcome back to the Malting Hour. We're still drinking pumpkin beer, and I'm glad to know that Mike really getting into that vape right there, man. Jesus, take it easy. Boy, all that shit gets picked up. I told you I'm pointing out everything. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this ending, to be honest. I don't know if I ever need to drink another fucking pumpkin beer. I've enjoyed all the pumpkin beers I've had this year, but I felt like we really got really excited about pumpkin beers, then we're really let down, and now I'm just going straight at it. But Clark, don't let me let my thoughts detour us from the route we're about to go, which is having your beer. Oh, wait, Brandon, did you come up with a name for your beer yet? Your pumpkin beer?
Nope. I was just calling it the Great Pumpkin.
I think we'll call mine the Great Pumpkin, and we'll just call yours the Pumpkin.
Yeah,
Maybe it's or maybe it should be the other way around. Yours is the Pumpkin.
I think it's the other way around.
Mine's the Pumpkin. I mean, his is great, but his has the pumpkin, so that's why we call it the Pumpkin. Get it?
There you go.
Anyways, Clark, you have the mic.
We're all drinking Mr. Rumpkin. It's pumpkin ale. About the fourth or fifth year in a row. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, do you have your recipe in front of you by any chance?
I do have my recipe. I'm also going to get into the naming of this beer. I know everyone wants to know.
Oh, boy.
But many years ago, my dog Rooney, Tony, you know Rooney very well.
My best friend. Sorry, Brandon.
We'd buy her, little stuffed toys to kill. And one year, around Halloween, there was a little pumpkin. So we named him Mr. Rumpkin. So we figured he deserves his own beer named after him. He's long gone, by the way. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Never forget.
Yeah. So this is probably the fourth or fifth time I've made this. Back in the day, I think I've said on many episodes that I've been, maybe up until this year, a pretty big pumpkin beer fan. That's kind of how I got into craft beer, I want to say. But we had our episode back earlier in the fall where I kind of got pretty angry about all the pumpkin beers we had where they didn't.
That's a
Didn't
accurate
give us any-
description.
They didn't hold their own.
I was very rude, and as I said earlier, I apologized to all those breweries because I thought at the time they didn't hit me in the face with all the pumpkin. I didn't get any pumpkin, I didn't get any spices, I didn't get anything. So it was time to brew again, Mr. Rumpkin. And this time I figured, let's do this. Let's really hit him hard. Let's give him the old pumpkin stuff. Now, saying that,
That'll do.
I did brew only a 2.5 gallon batch because I knew it wouldn't be drank all that much.
Way to plan ahead.
Mostly because, so I'm kind of glad I did that. So we got a pretty hefty little beer. Going to guess it's around 6% ABV.
Oh, that's right.
because,
Clark doesn't use hydrometers.
Well, that's not to say I don't use them. It's more I forget to use them.
Oh, right.
It's always about 5 minutes too late. So I'll just go off a year I actually did use a hydrometer. So it's probably around 6%. But we've got in this beer, the usual two-row. Got some Caramel Crystal 60, about 12 ounces of Special B. And then here's where the fun comes in.
Ooh.
We got 2.5 ounces of smoked malt.
What?
Yeah. I use at least a pound of pumpkin, as Brandon does. I roasted it in the oven for a while with spices in there. No brown sugar, though. Got a little
Oh, so you
golden.
add the spices when you do the...
Yeah.
okay.
I mix it all in, put it in a bowl, mix it all together, then roast it. So try to get it all baked in there. And then, let's see what else. We got pumpkin pie spice in the boil, which I did towards the end. This time I used to put it in at the beginning, and after a bit of, years of doing hazies, I've kind of learned that that doesn't do anything. But that's why I went at the end with a whirlpool, a little bit of cinnamon stick at the end of the boil, and then a little dry hop of some pumpkin pie spice, cinnamon stick, allspice berries.
Jesus.
So we're hitting you hard, man.
Well,
And that's Mr. Rumpkin for you.
If I can say anything, number one, you're never allowed on the show again.
Thank you.
Number two, especially if you're making a beer where we're drinking up against beers that I have made and Brandon has made. And number three, it's because, man, this beer is really good.
Agreed.
Well, thank you.
If I had to choose between the three right now, and sorry, Mike, I know you're about to say something. I know we haven't had your stout yet,
No.
but holy shit! I mean, and then hearing everything that you did with it, when you said the smoked malt, I was taken aback, and then I was like, oh,
The care and the love into the beer.
And
no,
just
man, this
when
sorry,
I poured
go
it,
ahead. Yeah.
super clear.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect head for a pumpkin beer. It's not.
Yeah, definitely light on the head like the others. But
Yeah.
like I said, that's kind
this
of
is solid, man. I wish every commercial pumpkin beer tasted like this.
You made love to this beer, man. It is
well,
good.
and that's what I was going for. I wanted a hit of pumpkin. The problem is, though, I only want this, 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
a season. So,
Can you brew 3 bombers?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even
So-
2.5 gallons is a little much. But
Well, then we'll
So
just.
what was awesome about this though? So when you were reading or going through the ingredients, I took my first sip. I smelt it first, so I have a comment on that. But when I took a
Whoever
sip, I'm
smelt
like,
it dealt it.
I'm like, I'm getting a hint of smoke on this, and you're like,
Huh,
smoke.
interesting.
I was like, oh, there's something like on the in the back.
Yeah.
It's almost like a little tiny smokiness, but I love it, man. This is awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a really solid beer.
Oh, and my comment on the aroma real quick
Oh,
was
yeah.
that when I first took a smell, I'm like, it smells like a slice of pumpkin pie. That's
Well,
what I got.
Yes.
I mean, there's probably close to 3 to 4 teaspoons. It might be tablespoons. I don't know. It's a lot of pumpkin pie.
Was it the big scoop or the little scoop?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was the middle-sized scoop.
Mike, you were about to say something?
I was just gonna say it smells.
Anyways,
sweet.
so sorry, Mike.
Oh, what a dick.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
It smells sweet, but it's not overly sweet. Like the balance is there with the spice, the bitterness, the sweetness. Solid work, man.
There is this like fruitiness I get. What yeast did you use?
It was White Labs English ale.
And I mean, okay, that makes sense then. I was gonna say, and it's not a bad thing. It's not like, oh, everything's so great, but you know what? I wish there's this fruitiness. Oh, that wasn't there. No, actually, I think it like complements it. My pumpkin beer can go to hell in comparison to this. If I want to brew pumpkin beer, Clark, I feel like Mr. Rumpkin might be the winner as far as the regular amber ale. Now,
Well,
I
thanks.
wish. No, thank you. It is really good, and it seems like it's apparent that you put a lot of thought behind it, and you didn't just do what I like to do, which is just throw. It's like cooking. Whatever happens, happens. When brewing is more like baking, where you have to almost, not almost, but you really need to, think about what you're doing and be a little bit more specific. I
Think
like
about
the,
what you're doing. Use all the best professional tools to make sure you're measuring correctly. All the way
Yeah,
through,
then-
all the way
and then
through.
at the end you get a mystery ABV. That's my
The
specialty.
That's
No, but
the- yeah.
I've been doing this for a number of years, and every time I've tried to tweak a little bit to make it, honestly, probably heavier on the pumpkin and the spice, because why not?
I mean, this, boy, I don't know what else to say about this. Actually, the one thing I will say, if you were to ever do some type of variant of this,
Yeah.
New Belgium doesn't do it anymore because they only now release their Atomic Pumpkin, their Habanero Pumpkin beer. They used to do one where they added a little bit cranberry to it, and I
Right.
absolutely love that. With using the English ale yeast on this, that would be a fun thing to do with this. Not that it needs it to change it, but the way that the yeast and the spices and everything that you've done with this beer, to do something fun, maybe to switch it up, to maybe add a little cranberry to this, whether it be extract or tincture or mash or secondary, whatever. That might be something else
sure.
for this, but that's it.
Always open to playing.
All right, cool.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
So-
Oh, sorry.
Well,
Go
what
ahead.
I was going to say real quick too. So kind of go, Tony.
I was trying to segue the show to like end it where we weren't going to get to Mike's beer.
Oh, no. Well, you ruined that joke. Anyway, actually, I did.
Thanks,
what
Brandon.
What I was going to say about the like Clark's beer when I was tasting, I tasted mine and then I tasted yours. This is the spice level that I imagine like having to come through. And you made a good, Clark puts it in when you roast the pumpkin. I think that's a key thing right there. I think that's what elevates this, because you're opening up those spices in the oven first, and then you're boiling them. So you're probably getting everything you can out of those spices. So good call on that, man.
Another thing that I'm not going to let Clark respond to that compliment. Another thing I think would be fun. I want to try and find a way to get a like. And Mike, maybe I have the answer for this, but Mike, maybe you have some insight on this. I think I'd mentioned it maybe to all you guys. When it comes to making a pumpkin beer, I almost want to get like a crust, like a pie crust flavor in it, like to make a pumpkin
We have
pie
discussed biscuit
beer.
malt.
With biscuit malt. Yeah, okay. So we did
Yeah.
have the discussion of that. I feel like
I think maybe like, they say use 15 or 20% in the batch, maybe even more than that, like a ridiculous amount.
like 30, 40?
30, 40, like, I don't know.
Wait, well, Clark, did you just use pale malt, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, no, he said special B too.
Yeah, special B.
Yeah,
That's a
there's,
good call.
And that gives you
That gives you the
a little
fruity
of
flavor
that.
as well, because special B also gives off like a raisiny
Like a
flavor,
yeah.
depending on how much you use. So I feel like that's maybe where I'm getting some fruitiness as well. Thank you for reminding me about the special B. So I feel like the English ale yeast and the special B gives off that little bit of fruitiness, and if we added like some biscuit malt to this, like that, not some, but like you're saying, maybe just kind of really push it. I feel like maybe we should do some 1 gallon batches leading up to October next year, because I don't want to do 5.
You mean not now?
I don't want to do 5 gallon batches. I'm
Yeah,
like,
let's all
okay,
do one more round of pumpkin beers.
Here we go. January
See how it
1st.
goes.
The next the January episode is Pumpkin Ale number 3. But yeah, that's something I've been wanting to get in my beer, but. Yeah, Clark, I can't say it enough, man. That is a solid freaking beer. Like, not only a solid pumpkin beer, but just a really nice beer overall.
Well, thanks. Yeah.
That's the nicest I'm ever
Brandon,
gonna
can
be
we get a
on the
round
show.
of applause for that?
You got that?
Nope.
Yeah, what about a game show sound so we can play Guess the ABV?
It's a lot of baseball. Oh, at least you had a disappointing reaction to only having the da-da-da-da-da. All right, well, we got through the 3 pumpkin ales, and now it's time for our guest, Mike, to talk about his beer, which I am very excited about because I have done a pumpkin stout before, which, as we talked about on the actual pumpkin beer episode, Warlock is one of my favorite pumpkin beers of all time. This time wasn't that great, but after we did the show, I went back and had my other Warlocks, and it was just as good as I remember. I think a pumpkin stout is a really nice way to present the pumpkin beer. But Mike, you took a little bit of a different approach. I went full on like American stout with my pumpkin beer, but you, my friend, went another way. So without further ado, my brother-in-law and yours, the man who hates to hear himself but listens to every episode, Mike Vertucci.
So yeah, I went with a recipe I don't think I've made in probably 5 years. My Guinness clone, and just boosted it up with it was 5 pounds of pumpkins that I bought. Ended up being 3 pounds of the meat that I sous vide for, I don't know, maybe an hour. And a couple tablespoons, 1 tablespoon of, I think it was McCormick's, pumpkin pie spice in the mash. Another half a tablespoon Whirlpool. And then I made another tablespoon tincture, which I added at packaging. So that's I didn't go into the detail as as Clark did, but
Well, no, maybe what's the grain bill on this? Do you have that in front of you by any chance?
yes, I do. I got 8 pounds of pale Maris Otter, 8 ounces of flaked barley, 8 ounces of black patent malt, 8 ounces of roasted barley, and 2 ounces of Fuggle at First Wort.
So, I will say this. My palate might be a little fatigued. I'm missing a little bit of the pumpkin spice. But the more as you were talking, I kept taking more sips and more sips, and I started getting more of the subtle notes of pumpkin. It's more of a pumpkin spice as far as like subdued. I will say this. God damn, that's a good dry Irish stout, my friend.
Yeah, that was my first initial reaction was, damn, this is good.
That's just a
You
great.
just forget the pumpkin stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck the pumpkin.
Yeah.
You don't
And then you
need
said,
that
"Oh,
for
it's my
this.
Guinness clone." I said, "Okay, yeah."
Yeah, I don't know if I get a whole lot of pumpkin, and again, it could be because of, I thought maybe doing the stout last would have been better. Maybe I need some water.
Well, if we've learned anything, that's probably definitely happening.
Yeah. Now I kind of wish mine came third. To be honest.
Well, now we know that Clark goes last.
Yeah, Clark's always last now.
Oops. Oops.
But I could see, and you and I talked about this on Halloween, in my THC gummy haze, where I did.
We did?
Yeah, I took what? What? Pizza pie. I had tried it after a little while, and I think I said the same thing. I was like, I really get the stout flavor from it. I really like the Guinness. Really, it's just a good stout, man.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the stout recipe, but yeah, I
don't know if I get a lot of
agree
pumpkin.
that it needs more. I used an ale, a standard ale amount of pumpkin and spice, and I should have amped it up.
Yeah. Well, just triple it.
And
I mean, seriously. I'm seriously.
I'm going to
right.
roast it with. I'm going to go with your roasting with the spices from now on.
Anything I've learned, you just gotta go way more than you think you do. If you want that, I mean.
Say that about
yeah, no, that's.
And hey, Mike, what did you say you sous vide?
Yes.
What? No,
The
what did
pumpkin?
you sous vide?
Oh, the pumpkin.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was fresh pumpkins that I slaughtered myself.
Ah, you went that route. Okay.
Yeah.
Farm
My grocery store had them for 39 cents a pound. So I thought,
Ooh.
I mean, shit. I honestly, I feel like for the next St. Patrick's Day episode, we didn't do one this.
This would be
year.
a good, yeah.
Well,
Hey, so a
shit.
question about the pumpkin though too that you got. Did you get like the baking pumpkins or was it
yes, they were pie pumpkin.
All right, good.
They were. I did not use my son's jack-o'-lantern.
That was melting away on the board.
Yeah,
That
what
the
the
squirrel
squirrels
got,
left, I put in a bag and boiled it for a little while.
Ooh, we got a bagel in this one. Great. Here we go.
So you're saying there's squirrel in this stout? Perfect.
There might be. It's not vegan. There's fish bladders too.
I get that at the end. Yeah.
The fish bladders? Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did get, so my first impression on this, as soon as I opened the bottle, I got a punch in the face of chocolate. And I was like, oh, maybe went a little over stout. But I feel, I mean, it's not as powerful as like Clark's. Let me see, go to Clark. Yeah, like it's pumpkin pie. You can smell that. Yours, it's like, I'm getting like that, almost the scent of, the aroma of Guinness with some tiny little underlying pumpkin spice, which again, like the beer itself is phenomenal. So
Yeah.
Well, I should have listened to you guys a little closer when you said I want to be punched in the face with pumpkin.
yeah,
did.
but
Well.
but I don't feel like Clark punched us in the face with pumpkin.
No,
I feel
that's
like
true.
he did a good balance of pumpkin. Brandon and I, for all of you who listen to the show, Mike, you being one of them, and Clark as well, know that Brandon and I can't do anything just normal. We do everything to the umpteenth degree. Mike, kind of like when we first started brewing our first Mr. Beer kit, we were like, oh cool, we've got a IPA, let's dry hop let's not dry hop. Yeah, let's dry hop the fuck out of it. We have no idea what we're doing.
No, I think
but
we
we're gonna
added
throw
extra
on-
hops in the boil too.
Yeah, and we threw all the the whole cone hops into it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that 2-gallon batch was probably 6 beers by the end of it.
Yeah, terrible. But I will say this: Clark, Brandon, and Mike, you guys all made really phenomenal pumpkin beers, and I feel like this episode itself has redeemed the podcast for doing a pumpkin beer episode. And no offense to the other beers, it just wasn't working out that night. But I feel like all 4 of these beers have their own place just in homebrewing history amongst us as friends and on this episode. I think everybody did a really good job, and everybody really put their own spin on what they thought a pumpkin beer should be, and made a really good beer. I mean, we really do have 4 different beers here that I would be very happy to drink at any time.
Agreed.
That is my
Here.
Oscar speech. Thank you very much. They're playing me off right now. I'm going to go ahead and step away, and that's it.
No, we. I think we all agree.
Just like that, just goes. He just
Yeah.
goes.
No, it's fun to try a little bit of everything.
Did you just
Different
do like
variations
a
of.
Oh, I thought like blend them all together.
Oh boy.
Now let's do. Oh boy. Oh, I don't know how that would work. I don't know if that would be.
Do it.
Okay, fine. I'll do it. I've got.
Tony's gonna do it.
All right, here we go. I gotta take a sip out of Mike's
Living
beer
on
because
the
it was really good. All
He's
right, pour this here.
pouring the beers together.
Clark's
one
just
at a
went
time.
in there. A
It's
little bit
in there.
of Brandon's
Here
now.
comes
Here we
The
go.
second one.
I get it.
And now the third one.
All right, hold on. I gotta go buy my beer now.
And now Tony will be searching for the 4th beer
Okay, it's over here.
as
on
we
tap.
wait
Here we go.
and wonder
Got it.
where he's gone.
Here we go. I'm back. I filled it all up. Okay.
He has returned to pour that 4th beer into his glass. And we wait and wonder what might be, what could be, what is. Well, what is it?
All he tastes is
Come on,
my
kid.
beer.
He didn't want to talk over you, man. I was like meditating, just listening.
All I taste is my beer because it's so fucking much. It overpowers Mike's Stout.
Jeez.
Don't worry, kids. Don't do that. I feel like I just wasted Mike's beer.
Oh, I got plenty. I still have that 5-gallon batch.
Oh, boy. I'll take some of that because I like your stout.
Yeah, that you can drink multiple times over the next month or
Yeah,
two.
and-
even
I don't
even if
think I
there's just
said,
a...
but let's see. I think we're less than 5% ABV.
Oh, even better.
Oh no, less than 4.
We got
Yeah, but how do you really know what the actual ABV is?
Yeah, it's probably
So
close to
weird.
4 with the pumpkin.
Well, here we go, Clark. What you do in the at the end of the boil, you're gonna pull a little sample and put it in this little tube, put a hydrometer in there, and it'll tell you how much water to sugar.
Oh, you mean the
ratio is.
hydrometer?
Oh, I'm sorry, hydrometer, and that's what you use.
Yeah,
to,
that's what you told me it was
You guys
called.
don't send it to a lab?
Oh. Maybe that's the
What
problem.
lab are you sending it to?
My neighbor's lab. It's a black one. Black lab? No, come on.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
That could have went. I'm sorry. That could have went 2 ways. When you said my neighbor's lab, it's a black one, and I was
Black
like,
lab.
"What? Where is he going with that joke?"
I should-
Ooh, a little racy for the malting hour, baby.
Why?
I'm sorry. What?
I said, wow.
Anyways, thank
What
you
do mean?
everybody. Shut up. Thank you everybody for tuning in again for the malting hour. I would normally this is where the part where we would say, "Hey, guess where can people find you?" Mike doesn't want to be found. If you want to find Mike, just keep listening to this show. And actually, Mike, is there anything you want people to check out at all? How about that? Are there things that people should no?
No cool shows, no cool podcasts.
No,
I
I
mean-
haven't. No Instagrams. I got no. What's the other one?
What
Tweeter.
is there anything that you like that you think people should check out?
What should we check out in West Virginia? You were.
Oh yeah. The middle of nowhere. That's what you should check out. It's amazing because people suck.
Cool.
I've been there.
It's a great place. I have to say.
That's pretty cool.
I saw like 6 people the whole time I was there.
That sounds fun, especially now.
That's not fun.
In now times. Well, I want to thank you, Mike, for joining us on this episode and brewing up a fantastic stout. We appreciate it. We love that
It
you
was my
support the show.
pleasure.
We love that you listen to the show and give us feedback. I always I find a way to say, hey, Mike, can you fact check that for me? And you come through. Clark, as always, I second guess inviting you to the show.
And I appreciate you.
Your beer was very good. Much like wait, can we get? I think unanimous about when it comes to pumpkin beers that we had tonight. If it was like we weren't going to change anything, Clark wins, right?
Yeah.
Well, there should be 2 categories, right?
For sure.
Like,
you win for stouts. Don't worry.
yes.
Yeah.
No,
Mike, you
definitely
win for
Clark's
stout. Mike wins for stout, and then Clark. Yeah, well done, sir. Very, very good beer. Very good beer.
Thank you.
We all
Done.
enjoyed it.
But there's a place for all of us.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Brandon's too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, not saying yours was not good, Tony. Solid
No, that's
beer.
exactly what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like.
No, I enjoyed it.
I'm just saying
I'm going to be able to
that's
finish
what it
this bottle of
sounds
his.
like.
Because 7, what did you say, 7.5%?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's a little much, man. I'm a lightweight, man.
Grow up. Being a little-
I did.
I don't want to.
Sucks. I don't want to do it anymore.
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
Hey, Clark, how can before I'm not even gonna. We're not even gonna plan on doing it for the end of the year. By the time the year is over, we're just gonna keep doing it like this. But come the first episode of January, we won't ask this question anymore. Clark, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me everywhere at Clarkowski.
That's on Instagram and Twitter, and that's it, right?
Yep, that's it.
Cool. Brandon,
What's your MySpace?
oh boy,
Uh,
that is embarrassing.
Mr. Rumpkin gets wait, that's the R NC-17 version.
boy.
Sorry.
Dude,
Never mind.
What's my
Exactly.
It's my new favorite sound effect.
Moving along.
Right on top of that, Rose.
Yeah, needed one of those.
That was the first of the night.
That's what Mr. Rumpkin said when he was getting a.
Yeah. So the intention was to use that anytime we asked Clark to actually fact check or do something, and well, we haven't really had to ask him to do anything
Yeah.
aside from read.
Or I just haven't been doing my job, so. Ugh.
Whatever, it works. Yep. Tony, where can people find you?
It's me, Tony, here. Anyone can find me at Tony Beer.
Oh, we lost Tony.
I
is
came
he
back. I'm here.
There he is.
Don't worry.
I was-
Lost. Oh boy, was there a lot of NC-17 stuff happening?
Oh, no, I filled in for you. Don't worry, it's okay.
Okay, great. Then just you. That's it. Brandon, I love you.
But where can people find you, Tony? If they really wanted to find you.
Nobody wants to find me anywhere. If it is the Asa Phelps as far as Twitter is concerned, if I'm not mistaken, and then it's just Asa Phelps on the Instagrams. And then everybody, thanks for going to themaltinghour.com, because every time you go there, Brandon gets a couple of cents.
Not every time.
Yeah, but please just keep going to the site. It's great. Brandon, we had that idea. For people to
Telling
win
people where
stuff.
they can find me. You can find me on Twitter at bdub81 and bmdub81 on Instagram.
I thought maybe you guys did that while I was gone.
No, I asked
sorry.
where people could find you, and then Clark started to try to be you. Just
Boy, I can't wait to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, you know what? We talked about doing, if people listen all the way through these episodes, other than Mike and Clark themselves, a little bit of trivia, and maybe they can win something from us. What kind of trivia? What kind of question? You know what? If anybody can throw out an idea, Clark and Mike involved. What's something that someone could send to us, like a word or an answer to a question? That they can maybe win something.
You can also ask a question. Here's like a not very specific thing, but asking questions about previous episodes or things we mentioned in previous episodes of the podcast.
Or on Instagram, or,
Oh, yeah.
Like what? Name one beer that we drank on Plop Day.
Done. Nice. There it is. Name one beer we drink on Plop Day, and if you email that to us at Brandon, what's our email address?
It's themaltinghour@gmail.com.
Fantastic. If you can,
Or you could actually email info@themaltinghour, info@themaltinghour.com, and that'll still come to us too. Sorry, I gotta get used to that one. That's new.
I think we'll just tell people info@themaltinghour.com. Yeah, if you guys can tell us one beer that we drank during Plop Day this past weekend, the weekend before, not this past weekend, because this is, the Monday after Thanksgiving, let us know, and we'll send you something. We'll send you something in the mail. If you get the answer right. So Mike, thank you again. Clark, burn in hell. Just joking, I love you, and thank you for your beer. It was very delicious. And Brandon,
you're welcome.
I love you, man.
Love you too, man.
Thanks, guys.
Way to ruin my I love you to Brandon. Just like every episode, I have to get that in. All right. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Bye.